Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 1 minute from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 1 minute time check, stations.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield, live from View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City. This is Hawk Talk, brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Your local Ford dealers, Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and Iowa Corn Promotion Board. You may think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. U.S. Bank, proud to support Iowa football. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Also brought to you by Mid-American Energy. Look up, look out for overhead power lines. Visit midamericanenergy.com for electrical safety tips. By University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Cellular, built for the Hawkeyes, built for silencing notifications and turning up the noise. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Iowa Farm Bureau, who would like to remind you to support America's farmers. Check out AmericaNeedsFarmers.org. And by Authentic Brand, the label you wear makes a difference. Step up your game day looks and everyday style with Authentic Brand. Here is your host, the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another week of Hawk Talk with Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz. Nice crowd here tonight. A lot of people out on the deck outside enjoying the view as we're 12 stories up at View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City in the Hilton Garden Inn. Hawkeye football wraps up a 5-game September. Kind of an oddity, but so was Saturday night. Boy, we didn't see that coming, did we? Man, oh man, we'll get into that. Penn State shutout of the Hawkeyes 31-0 as the Hawks suffered their first blanking scoreless loss in 23 years. Go back to when Coach Ferentz first arrived on the scene and was putting the pieces to the puzzle together in his first year or two, and that was the 3-9 season. But in that season, they knocked off Penn State in overtime at Happy Valley, then came home and beat what everybody thought was the Rose Bowl-bound Northwestern Wildcats the following Saturday. So there is a trampoline in place. The Hawks will bounce back. Let's everybody step back, take a deep breath. A lot of hand-wringing going on this week. I get that, but nobody expected what we saw Saturday night. 76 total yards, 4 first downs, 95 plays to 33, and another mind-boggling stat was 45 minutes for Penn State to 15 minutes of ball possession for the Hawkeyes. But hey, it happens. Maybe not to that degree, but you get caught, you catch somebody who's really good, and Penn State, bottom line, is really good, especially on the defensive side. They're very talented on offense. A lot of youngsters playing, led by sophomore Drew Aller. And they took advantage of 4 Hawkeye turnovers. Maybe that was maybe the most eye-popping stat that we witnessed, Podolak and I, out in State College, was the 4 turnovers. That just typically doesn't happen with Iowa football. But it literally rained on Iowa's parade and rained all day and rained all night. That was a factor in the turnovers, no doubt. But in the end, Penn State outplayed the Hawkeyes, and they win it going away 31-0. Just 10-0 at the half. And we were talking about it on the broadcast. If the Hawks, Penn State got the ball to start the second half, but that defense had spent a lot of time on the field by then, even with a 15-minute break at the intermission. But we thought if we get the stop there in the third quarter, then perhaps Cade McNamara could get that running game going and could ignite a scoring drive and take some of the pressure off the defense and special teams. But it didn't happen. And the Hawks, big picture, they're 3-1, and now they play another Saturday night game as they welcome the Michigan State Spartans to Kinnick Stadium on Saturday night for a 6:30 kickoff. That we go from whiteout to blackout, so that's the black and white of it. It's from whiteout to blackout, and so wear your best dark black colors on Saturday night to match the nighttime sky. It's always a beautiful scene, whether it's during the day or in the evening. The blackout game at Kinnick. Iowa is 3-1. Penn State moves on to 4-0. The Nittany Lions are at Northwestern this weekend as the Big Ten really starts to ratchet up in conference play prior to the arrival of October. There were some bright spots, most of them on the defensive side. Jay Higgins posted a new career high with 18 tackles, 10 of those in the first half, 10 solo stops for the game. His running mate there at linebacker, Nick Jackson, had a season-high 13 tackles. Nick had a great game, including 2.5 for loss. It's his first game with 10 or more tackles as a Hawkeye, but his 21st game career-wise with double-digit tackles. You'll remember he transferred in from the University of Virginia, where he was an all-ACC linebacker for 3 years. Defensive lineman Ethan Herkett out of Cedar Rapids Kennedy had a career-high 9 tackles. We've been raving about Ethan now that he's completely healthy again. They got other good play from Y.A. Black and Joe Evans up front. And then, of course, every week we talk about Torrey Taylor's performance. He had a season-long 62-yard punt in the second quarter. He punted 7 times, a career best average of 52.3. And, of course, off the first one of the night, it died inside the 1-yard line thanks to great punt coverage as they got to the ball before it could get to the end zone. Hawks got a 3-and-out. Penn State had to punt, no score. Cade leads Iowa inside the 20-yard line, and Eric All working his tail off, trying to get an extra yard or half a yard. The ball came loose as he was heading to the ground, popped out, and boy, all momentum seemed to change at that point. No excuses. Penn State outplayed the Hawks. They'll meet another day as we move on and look forward to hosting the Michigan State Spartans. And if you hadn't heard, there was major news out of East Lansing today, not unexpected. Michigan State has started the process of relieving Coach Mel Tucker of his duties as head coach. Harlan Barnett is the interim coach. He has served on that staff for some time, and Harlan Barnett will be on the sidelines Saturday night running the show for the Michigan State Spartans, who have struggled out of the gate. They're 2-2, but got whipped pretty soundly at home by Maryland this past weekend up in East Lansing, 31-9. And that was Michigan State's homecoming game. So that obviously they're reeling from the situation surrounding Coach Tucker, and we'll see how Michigan State responds now in the face of adversity. So to me, it all adds up as a terrific matchup. Historically, this has been a great matchup between the Spartans and the host Hawkeyes, and we'll give you the numbers when we come back from our first time out. We're here at View Rooftop, and thank you so much for joining us on the Hawkeye Radio Network or around the country on XM Satellite, and you're welcome to stop by where you can immerse yourself in an invigorating environment with comfortable contemporary indoor and outdoor seating. HD TVs for watching the game. Tailgate specials on football Saturdays like this weekend. And, of course, live music on Saturday night. Enjoy the camaraderie and celebrate with a toast at View Rooftop, V-U-E Rooftop, atop the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City. Please call for reservations at 319-519-4650. 319-519-4650. There's a hero in all of us. Pioneer is proud to partner with Iowa and Nebraska for the Pioneer Heroes game. Together we want to recognize and celebrate local heroes who exemplify the goal of positively impacting the community and who stand as an inspiration to others. If you have a family or community member you'd like to recognize and nominate, please submit your local hero nomination at HawkeyeSports.com/hero. That's HawkeyeSports.com/hero, so we can celebrate the heroes in our community. Of course, the Heroes game will be on Black Friday. Blackout this weekend, blackout game Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, and the Hawks travel to Lincoln to take on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. All right, a couple of ways you can reach us tonight on the show, on the Hawkeye Radio Network, via the Varsity Network app. You can download the app in the Apple Store for Apple devices or the Google Play Store for Android devices. The Varsity Network app offers fans instant access to free game day audio streams, plus you can receive push notifications to remind you of games starting or upcoming audio broadcasts. As always, you can watch us tonight on KCRG Channel 9.2. We're on the official Iowa Hawkeyes YouTube page. Thanks to Erin Rooney and her staff at KCRG 9.2. They're providing us with all the visual effects this evening. On social media, if you'd like to ask Coach Ferentz a question about last week or about the game ahead, you're free to do so. We'll get to as many as we can. You can reach us on Twitter at Gary Dolphin or at Iowa_Learfield or hashtag Hawk Talk. If Facebook is your source of communication, you can reach us, the Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz, on Facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. Facebook.com/Voice of the Hawkeyes. Kirk will be here, as usual, right at the top of the hour, 7 o'clock or a little after. We'll take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to feature another women's sports outstanding program, tennis, with Coach Sasha Schmid. That's ahead here on Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz from Learfield.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
I'm Ingrid Lizarraga, breast surgeon at the University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center, the state's only NCI-designated cancer center. Here, we look beyond just the type of cancer you have to discover the molecular details of the disease. We have teams dedicated to each cancer type, with treatments and trials you won't find anywhere else in Iowa. Go to uihc.org/cancer.
Running a business is a lot of work. Luckily, I've got a great partner.
Oh, I thank you.
I meant U.S. Bank.
I knew that.
U.S. Bank Business Essentials is a huge help to us.
Totally. Their comprehensive point-of-sale system does it all. Tracks inventory, manages schedules, customizes orders.
Plus all the regular banking stuff.
If only it could make coffee.
Nah, that's your job.
From point of sale to quick loans, we have many ways to make your business boom. That's what U.S. Bank is for. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Hey Hawkeyes, this is Coach Kirk Ferentz. We work hard all year long to have the best season possible, just like Iowa's corn farmers do. At the University of Iowa, we celebrate our student athletes as well as our state's corn farmers. For all of us, it's the same. When you put in the hard work and give it your all, great things happen. Want to support Iowa's corn farmers? It's easy. Buy corn-fed meat, dairy, and eggs. Fill your cup with safe drinking water right from the tap and fuel your vehicle with homegrown unleaded 88. Let's go Hawks.
Kids eat free in September at Wahlburgers at Hy-Vee to celebrate National Family Meals Month. That's right, get a free kids meal with the purchase of an adult entree. Kids 12 and under can choose from favorites like a burger and fries, grilled cheese, chicken tenders, and more. Bring the family together. Dine in at Wahlburgers at Hy-Vee and get a free kids meal with the purchase of an adult entree every day in September. Dine in only. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Get ready, Hawkeye fans. Hudson Southside Tap is your ultimate destination for Hawkeye game days. Swing by and savor our delicious House Bloody Marys for just $6. But that's not all. This year, we're proud to announce that Hudson's is the official host of the Hawkeye Radio Network postgame show, happening right after every home game. Cheer on the Hawkeyes while enjoying the fantastic atmosphere and great company at Hudson's. Find us conveniently located on Highway 1 West in Iowa City. Hudson Southside Tap, where Hawkeye spirit comes alive. Go Hawks!
Welcome back to View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City. Beautiful view tonight. What a great day today. Hi, ladies. Welcome back. Louise and Lucy. Middle of the alphabet. The L girls are here, as they always are each and every week. We have a lot of loyal, regular visitors, and thanks so much for coming out and supporting not only View Rooftop, but Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz. Coach will be here shortly. In the meantime, we have another outstanding coach. Iowa has a truckload of great coaches across the way on campus, and the one we visit with this evening, we've been featuring the women's sports for the most part since we started about a month ago. And Sasha Schmid joins us tonight, the head women's tennis coach of the Hawkeyes. How about a hand for Coach Sasha Schmid? Nice to see you again, Coach.
Good to see you, Gary. Thanks for having me.
You're just getting ramped up with the season, right? Tell us about it.
We are. We just started actually competing last weekend. So we took a trip to Charlotte. So for tennis in the fall, we play individual tournaments, and then our championship team season doesn't get started until January. But the fall is a great time for our young women to get back on the court and start competing and play in individual tournaments and get ready for Big Ten, which really starts around March.
Yeah, we were talking with Megan Menzel a couple weeks back, and it's really the same with women's golf. They're at this invitational, that invitational, which is great competition, but she said it's always invites during the fall, and then you get after it with match play and battling lady come spring.
Yes, very much so. And tennis is going through kind of a change. Next year, we'll actually have an NCAA singles and doubles championship in November. So the fall season is kind of moving towards an individual NCAA championship, and the spring season will move towards a team championship. So we'll be one of the few sports that has an NCAA championship, one in the fall and one in the spring.
Wow, that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
And you mentioned you're just getting started. You had a great weekend at Charlotte. You won 10 singles matches and 4 doubles matches. You returned 5 players from last season's team. That's usually pretty good depth. Tell us about who you're relying on, who you're counting on.
Yeah, we lost a real valuable player, and Samantha Mannix graduated last spring, and she was a great impact all conference and played at our #1 spot. So we actually are replacing Samantha with 3 new players. So we've got a transfer that came in from LSU and will be a sophomore, had a great season in the SEC conference, which is a great tennis conference, so she'll bring a lot of experience and a lot of confidence to our team. And 2 freshmen. One freshman, Chelsea, is actually from Naples, Florida, and she is doing great. And then we have a freshman, Jessica Matthews, from England. So 3 new players, and I think the depth improves, and we're kind of just in that early stage of getting back on the court, but they had a good first outing.
All right, the transfer from LSU, let me see if I can nail it on the first try. Nikita Vishwasi.
Yes, very good.
How about that?
You got
it. See,
yeah.
So I've got to work on my phonics and my phonetic spelling. Tell us about Chelsea Bluestein from Florida and Jessica Matthews. You're out of England. Like every rowing, soccer, field hockey, it's become an international sport, hasn't it? Tennis has been international for a century.
Yeah, I know you and I have talked about that a few times, how recruiting is worldwide. And yeah, Jessica Matthews is a great player from England. Both Chelsea and Jessica are right around 6 foot, so they've got big frames, good athletic bodies, and they really are tons of high ceilings in their potential to play great high-level collegiate tennis. Chelsea actually came in at one of the highest ratings as a freshman on our team, so her level is really high, and I think she'll make a big impact in our lineup, both at the high doubles and singles positioning. And Jessica is really somebody who is just growing into her body and growing into her game, and I was really pleased with the way she played this weekend and had a great win over a really strong Wisconsin kid. So I think for the first time out, there's always nerves, and first college tournament, first time on court and competing, and with us as coaches on the court, and they both did really well.
Terrific season last year. You won 13, lost 10 overall, but 7-4 in the Big Ten. That's terrific. And you got your #1 singles player back, Marissa Schmidt. It's not Schmid. It's
right.
Schmidt.
She's got a T.
She's got to remove that T, and she's probably related to you, right, Coach? But she's back for her junior year. What are her strengths?
Yeah, she's going to be a really experienced player, and she likes competing at the high spot for us, and we really rely on her. I think, I would say our strength is in our depth. So from 1 to 8, we've got a really great depth, and I believe in all of those players. And Marissa's been able to rise to the challenge of playing high, which isn't easy in the Big Ten. So we're really going to rely on her ability to return and compete hard for us.
What happens after Charlotte now? Where do you head next year?
Yeah, we've got an All-American Championship that takes place this weekend, and so we are. It's kind of an invite, and we've got Diana, who is Hayashida on our team, who's right on the border of getting an entry. So we are checking consistently on that alternate list, and if she gets in, she's going to hop on a flight Friday morning and go down there and compete in a really strong national tournament in Cary, North Carolina. And then after that, we go to regionals, which Kansas is hosting. We're in the Central Regionals. It's a really strong region. And that will funnel into like a fall nationals, which will eventually move into the NCAA tournament next year. So we'll play probably until like around the 11th of November, and then we'll shut down and start back up again around January 9th for our main championship season.
I was looking at the schedule. I'm terribly sorry that in November you have to go to San Diego and then to Vegas, and then start off in January in Fort Myers. But
that looks like a Megan Menzel schedule, doesn't it? That's what I'm only learning from golf. That's what they do.
Men's and women's golf.
Yeah.
Well, they usually end up in the Caribbean or Punta Gorda or someplace, but it's all worth it. We got to take care of our athletes, and it looks like you got another outstanding team ready to go, Coach. You mentioned Marissa Schmidt. She loves playing number one. Isn't that refreshing? You want people to be the best at what they do, and it could be a little intimidating. Okay, you're number one singles or number one doubles. That just doesn't happen. So good for her.
Yeah, it's not. There's no easy matches in this league, and she does love playing at a high level. She came from an experienced junior background, and she's done well, and she continues to improve. And I think being able to rely on the older kids. She actually started and came in January as a freshman and played number one right out of the bat. So she's gonna return for a third season with that experience. That'll be really helpful.
How about the state of Iowa? Where is girls high school tennis? It's always been strong. I remember this programs from 30, 40, 50 years ago when I was covering high school athletics regularly. Seems to be steady, huh?
Yeah, in Iowa City, we're really fortunate with the Hawkeye Tennis Recreation Center, which is one of the best facilities in the state. And so West High, City High, Liberty High usually have great high school tennis programs because of the teaching and the clinics that are offered in our great facility. To be able to have 8 indoor courts is wonderful. There's some other good facilities in Des Moines, but that really helps Iowa City. And I think it's hard because we do play half the year indoors, and a lot of these kids have to travel to Chicago and to Kansas City to continue to have good competition. But we're really fortunate to have our community take advantage of the wonderful facility that we use here for Iowa women's tennis.
All right, now you've been hosting a podcast weekly. I think it's weekly.
Yeah.
Like I have for a couple of years. It's kind of a different avenue to get to the Hawk fans. How's yours doing? I understand you're retooling it a little bit.
Yeah, Herky's Voice has been just an absolute gift to me. I've enjoyed doing it. It's a project that started in 2020, and I've got to be able to highlight stories from women's athletics and just interview coaches and student athletes and alums that, I think sometimes just being able to connect with our community makes our Hawkeye community feel that much more a part of those sports, and hopefully they decide to go out and catch a field hockey game and be able to go to a soccer once they kind of get a little bit more of the backstory and connection with the team. So that's been really fun. I've enjoyed that. And we're in the middle of a little bit of hopefully an upgrade and a retooling of it, and we're going to start releasing it again. And I think, one of the great things about our new athletic director, Beth Getz, is she's got new, fresh ideas, and she's really enthusiastic. And so it kind of gives us a chance to kind of reevaluate things and see how we can, hopefully improve on them. So we're in the midst of unveiling it. Stay tuned.
Find it on HawkeyeSports.com.
Yes.
As Coach Sasha Schmidt updates, and you mentioned Lisa Salucci. They got a big weekend coming up. The number 1 ranked field hockey team in America.
Yeah, Lisa's here, Gary.
I saw Lisa over there.
She's checking.
Can't get enough. Can't get enough of you rooftop, can you, Lisa? Great to have you back anytime. We've had a good run with Lisa's, haven't we? Bluter,
yes.
Salucci, and there's others I'm sure I'm missing. But
I'm going to have to talk to Sports Information about booking me after Lisa Salucci's on the show. That doesn't seem, I don't want to follow the number one team in the nation.
You got to work hard to get the ratings back up there, Coach, but you do just fine. You're very polished, and we appreciate you coming out tonight. Good luck to field hockey.
Yes.
They're home this weekend. I'm going from memory here. Ohio State.
Ohio State at 3 o'clock.
At 3 o'clock.
Yes,
is that
Grant Field.
Sunday, right? And it's the pink
Friday.
game, right? Bring awareness to breast cancer. See, my mind's not totally gone yet, Lisa. Good luck to Hawks, Dave Diani, and soccer.
They're having a great season.
Our home, they are. Everybody's having a great season.
Yes.
That's what we love to see. Coach, thanks for coming by. We
Thanks,
appreciate you helping us out here on the Hawk Talk program with Kirk Ferentz.
You bet.
Okay, we're going to come back for more football talk in just a minute. Yeah, Coach, appreciate your efforts and very insightful on Hawkeye women's tennis. Coach will be here shortly. We'll get his club car wash keys to a victory over Michigan State this weekend. And if you're dialing in on Twitter or Facebook and we select your question tonight as our favorite here at View Rooftop, you're going to win a gift pack of merchandise from Authentic Brand. Just submit the question right now on Twitter at Gary Dolphin or on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawkeyes. And if we select your comment or your question, you win an Authentic Brand Hawkeye merch pack. And so we'll announce that at the end of the show tonight. And we've got some pretty good meaty questions and comments here so far. Nico Reganey has some thoughts on team goals despite what happened last Saturday.
But the main goal is got to be continuing to win. And even if that's catching one ball a game for the rest of the year, I'll continually do it if that means that we'll win. So our goal is still up on the table. We're 3-1. We're getting into Big Ten play, just played our first Big Ten game. And I feel like we'll find a lot out about this team after this week.
Yeah, Jay Higgins is on the same page with Nico Reganey, Iowa's outstanding linebacker.
Have to. Started Sunday. Good week of practice so far. There's a game every week, and you can't dwell too much in the past, or you won't be ready for the next game coming up.
Seems like morale is pretty good with you and Nick, at least. How's the rest of the team?
Oh, we're good. We're good. We know what it means to play in a conference like this. We know it's a 1 week schedule every week. So we're prepared for this coming game. We're excited for this coming game. And excited to get back in Kennet.
And we'll talk more with some of the Hawkeye players as well as Coach Ferentz when he arrives here shortly. Want to thank Bud Light. Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch, a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Bud Light, easy to drink and easy to enjoy. Iowa, Michigan State at 6:30 on Saturday night. We will be on the air at 4:30. Podolak and Rob Brooks, yours truly, and our cast of thousands, as Jim Zabel used to say, will be on the air with a Hawkeye pregame show courtesy of Authentic Brand and Wiffles Hybrid starting at 4:30. We'll take you right up to kickoff at 6:30 at Kinnick Stadium, another sold-out house on blackout night. So please come join us and tune in, the Hawkeye Radio Network. All right, we're back to View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn right after this pause from words and our important sponsors right after this on Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz from Learfield.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spahn & Rose like GAF. Use the Spahn & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spahn & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spahn & Rose, buy easier, build better.
Can you think of anything that costs the same today as it did 10 years ago? There isn't much. That is, unless you're a Mid-American Energy customer. Thanks to all the renewable energy we're generating, our customers pay nearly the same rate for electricity today as they did back when we were all singing, "Call Me Maybe." And with Mid-American making even more investments in clean energy, you can count on enjoying those same affordable rates for the next decade. Now that's obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
If you've got the right tools and the friendly people at U.S. Bank in your corner, making smarter money choices is a piece of cake. If only our tools and helpful advisors could have helped you avoid some of those not-so-smart choices in life. Like that time you tried to pick up unicycling.
Whoa, coming through!
Or when you thought it'd be okay to pet that squirrel in the park.
Good squirrel, good squirrel.
While we can't help you with all that, we can help you bank smartly at usbank.com/smarter together. Member FDIC.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup for the 2023-24 college athletic season? You can follow the standings of your favorite school or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. That's thedirectorscup.com and L Directors Cup on Twitter. Trophies will be awarded in June 2024 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Hello, Hawkeye fans. This is Bruce Gerleman, and I own Jethro's Barbecue. Have you heard the news? It's really big news. Jethro's Barbecue is now open in Coralville. That's right, across from the Hawkeye softball diamonds on the Coralville Strip. Jethro's is your game day headquarters. Call ahead and order your tailgate barbecue from Jethro's. Before the game, during the game, after the game, stop in Jethro's and eat my amazing slow-smoked wings and my world-famous baby back ribs.
Bump's Restaurant in the Finkbine Golf Course Clubhouse is the place to go before Hawkeye football games. For just $35 per person, you can have an all-you-can-eat buffet that includes barbecue, upscale tailgate favorites, a carving station, and all the fixins in the friendly comfort of the modern clubhouse. A full bar, Bloody Marys, mimosas, and over 35 beers are available. Reservations made on Friday before 11 a.m. include free game day parking for one vehicle. Kinnick Stadium is a leisurely walk down Melrose Avenue, so make game day easy by parking and eating at Bump's. For reservations, call 319-335-9662.
We're back at View Rooftop in the Hilton Garden Inn, downtown Iowa City. Let's pause 10 seconds before we resume with Hawk Talk and Coach Kirk Ferentz. 10-second station identification break along the Hawkeye radio network, 55 stations strong, led by our flagships WHO in Des Moines and WMT in Cedar Rapids. 10-second ID break. You're listening to Hawk Talk with the head coach, Coach Ferentz. Welcome back. And let me clarify, Iowa's number one ranked field hockey team is playing 2 home matches this weekend. So if you're coming in on Friday for the game Saturday, for goodness sakes, get out to Grant Field at 3 o'clock. The 11th ranked Ohio State Buckeyes are in town to take on number one Iowa at 9-0. Coach Salucci, I mean, you have to see this unbelievable freshman from the Netherlands that Iowa has. Her name is Dion Van Alsem. She's got, I'm going from memory here, I think she's got 21 goals in 9 matches. I mean, there's some teams that don't score 21 goals in a season. She's been the National Player of the Year, or Player of the Week. She's been Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week not once but twice. Freshman, pure freshman, just came in from the Netherlands, and of course they have many more outstanding players. They're 9-0, and 7 of those victories are shutouts. So they're very good with Mia Magnata in goal, but the key is very few shots on goal this year. That's how good Iowa's defense is. It's really a rare gem to see a team that is so good at both ends of the field. So 3 o'clock Friday afternoon, Ohio State, Iowa on the West Campus at Grant Field. And then Sunday is the pink. By the way, Friday is Blackout Friday, so you can try on your best black prior to the football game Saturday night for Iowa field hockey at 3 o'clock Friday afternoon. Then Michigan State will be here at noon. Michigan State field hockey at noon on Sunday, also at Grant Field. That is the pink out game in honor of breast cancer awareness. So big weekend for our Hawkeye field hockey team. I mentioned soccer is at home for a big match. It's just so wonderful all across campus to see all these teams in action, especially once conference play starts. We're talking Hawkeye football, of course, tonight. Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz from View Rooftop is brought to you by Quickstar. Fans, you can drive your team to a win this season by filling up with unleaded 88 with quick rewards or at any Quick Start location. Fuel up with 8 gallons or more of unleaded 88, and you'll be automatically entered for a chance to win great prize packs throughout the season. Quick Start, proud partner of Hawkeye football. Well, what about Michigan State? I mentioned they're 2-2 on the year and lost much the way Iowa did, 31-9 against Maryland. Only Michigan State was playing at home. They lost to an outstanding Washington team, 41-7. The week before, Michael Penix, the former Indiana quarterback, is having a Heisman Trophy type year for the Washington Huskies. Michigan State pounded Central Michigan in its season opener and then walloped Richmond in week 2. So they're 2-2, 0-1 in the conference, and now they're on the road for a couple weeks at Iowa Saturday night, and then at Rutgers before hosting Michigan. So this is a big game if you're Harlan Barnett, who's in his 15th year overall on the Spartan coaching staff, and he was named acting head coach by Michigan State a couple weeks back as the issue with Mel Tucker continues. Michigan State announced today that they are in the process now of firing Mel Tucker for off-the-field discrepancies, and of course that story will linger for a few days anyway. Iowa, Michigan State coming up Saturday night at Kinnick. It is a sellout. You can hear it here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. What about Michigan State? They've got an elusive quarterback. His name is Noah Kim. And I'll give you his numbers. He's had a really good start to this season. He's thrown 6 touchdown passes. He's thrown for almost 900 yards. And he is legit. He has tossed 3 interceptions. So he is prone to a turnover or 2. And hopefully the Iowa defense will get back untracked like the other 3 phases and go from there. Nate Carter and Jalen Berger are their 2 best running backs. Now Carter is the primary. He's averaging 5 yards a carry, 92 yards rushing a game. He's got 73 attempts and rushed for nearly 400 yards. Kim is completing his pass percentage completion rate is about 57%, very similar to what Cade McNamara has done. Their top receiver is Trey Mosley. He's caught 13 balls, a 12-yard average, and 1 touchdown. Terrell Henry, tight end, has caught 2 touchdown passes to lead the team. So those are some of the numbers for Michigan State's offense. Defensively, they rush 4. They're a lot like Iowa, 4-3 defense, but they'll go 4-2-5 and play that hybrid back like the Hawks do with Sebastian Castro. They have up front Simeon Barrow, who's got a sack and a half, 2.5 tackles for loss. Zion Young is an outstanding rush end, a sophomore from Atlanta. They've got a lot of experience at the linebacker position, a junior, a senior, 2 seniors, and a junior. And in the back end, their safeties are always good at Michigan State. Cornerbacks are solid. And we'll get Coach Ferentz thoughts as he is just now settling into his chair after a hard day of practice and film sessions and meetings. And you know, you're not used to talking to your team after a 31-0 loss. Is it any different? I know you always say 24 hours, flush it, win or lose, move on to the next opponent, but this one had a little different flavor to it.
Yeah, it's easier said than done. Anytime you lose, it's hard to move past it, especially for the players and the coaches. It's what we do. We invest a lot of time in it, so certainly nothing fun about it. It was a quiet locker room after the game, as you might imagine, and quiet flight home, and then certainly Sunday was a quiet day in our building. But the key thing is you can't dwell on things. You can't get fixated and then let that affect what's coming up. And that's really probably the most important message we deliver on Sunday, other than going through the film, see what we can learn from it, and then you got to move forward. You really have to, and you got 8 more opportunities in this case, all conference games. So right now, the only thing that really matters is getting ready for Michigan State.
Well, what'd you learn from the film? What disappointed you most?
It's just I don't want to say it's one of those games. I'll get killed for that, I'm sure. But if you do this long enough, there are some games you just can't fully explain. We had a good week, I thought, of practice preparation. I thought we were in a good frame of mind starting the game. I really do. And just seems like when the wheels came off after the turnover, and then obviously turnovers factored in as we went along. But it's one of those games where nothing really, outside of Torrey's punting, nothing really worked out very well, and it just snowballed as the game went on, and it's never fun. Unfortunately, again, you do this for 40-some years. You're involved in a few of those over the years, and when it does happen, it's not fun. And what is fun is having a chance to get back and get on your feet and go back to work and see what we can do moving forward.
I remember a talk you gave when you first got here at a team meeting after practice. As the season was about to start, you said, hey, give me your undivided attention for the next 12 weeks, not counting fall camp, of course, but you get 12 chances, you get 12 opportunities, at least at that time. Maybe it was 11, as I remember, but 12 counting a bowl game. And I remember your last line was, you give me 12 weeks of your undivided attention, and we can do some special things. And you have over 25 years, but that still resonates, I know.
Yeah, it doesn't change. And, one other point I would add to that, if you look back at our teams, historically, the good teams, well, let me rephrase that. Every team has gone through adversity, every one of them. I mean, that's just the nature of what we do. So, that's part of that, and you have to learn how to live with that. And if you can't, you probably should go do something else. But really, I think the secret is if you look at our really good teams, our good seasons, it's how we handled the adversity. It, defined the team. And either way, however it goes, that is going to define you and define the team. So that's a challenge. You never know how it's going to come, what shape it's going to come in, or when it's going to come. And I can think of some easy examples. We've gone through tough games in September and had outstanding seasons. We've had outstanding seasons where things went fairly smoothly, and it wasn't so good in November. But, no matter when it comes, whether it's injuries, a tough loss, whatever it may be, you got to deal with it. And at some point, you got to put it behind you. You got to learn from it, certainly, and let it fuel you, not, drag you down. And then, but you got to move on. There's no option on that one. So it's just a matter of moving on. And one thing I did point out to our guys, I've been around these guys now, not the entire team for 9 months, but the majority of the team. And, for 9 months, and just, you watch them, you're with them not daily, but pretty routinely. And up until Saturday, I can't really remember a bad day. So, I'm looking at 9 months versus 3 hours, and, we're going to move on, see what we can do here moving forward.
45 minutes time of possession to 15, and I bring that up because there wasn't a whole lot of good on the tape, I'm sure, but the defense, it's 10-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
And, the rain's the same for everybody, as you like to say. So you come out in the second half, the guys had to be full of pea and vinegar, and I'm sure you got that message to them. Look, get a stop, start in the second half. We're back on track.
Which we didn't do, and that's, that was the story of the second half. We couldn't get off the field and couldn't stay on the field. And interesting part about it, usually, we chart big plays pretty closely, both sides of the football, and usually in any scoring possession, big plays factor into it. Usually several, but not always. But they really didn't mount up a lot of big plays. They got more chunk yards, and they were just able to keep the sticks going forward. And again, we had no success doing that at all. So. I can't give you an explanation if I was that smart. I don't know what I'd be doing, but. It happens. Like I said, it's part of life, part of football, and what we got to do now is move forward, and we're just going to keep pushing. I've got confidence in our guys. They're great guys, got a great staff, and we're just going to keep working like we always do.
Your three linebackers were outstanding, Jay Higgins and Nick Jackson. They've had back-to-back wonderful weeks. Kyler Fisher started out on fire, made some big plays early in the game. The three linebackers combined for 38 tackles in the game. Kirk, that's notable.
Yeah, it is. And again, that goes back to the imbalance of plays. We didn't have a lot, and they had quite a few. So, it just there's not a lot other to say about the game other than we got beat in every phase, and we're going to move forward and see what we can do about winning this Saturday.
All right, let's. Before Kirk gives us his club car wash keys to the game, let's hear from Nick Jackson on the Michigan State quarterback, Noah Kim, and the offense in general.
Yeah, I definitely think that he's really mobile in the pocket, and then their running back he's dynamic, makes some plays. They have a big tight end, they have a good receiving core. We're getting into that spot where it's Big Ten football. In Michigan State, there's always been a good team, and there always will be a good team. So we got some stuff to work on, and we know that we have to stop the run. We know we have to make plays on the ball in the pass game. So they're a good football team. They do a lot of stuff outside zone-wise, and they're a good football team.
So there you have it, the Plain Jane from Nick Jackson, who has really performed admirably since transferring in from the University of Virginia. We'll take a break. When we come back, Coach Ferentz will give us his thoughts on the Michigan State Spartans of 2023. Saturday night kickoff at 6:30. It's Blackout Saturday over at Kinnick, a sold-out Kinnick. We'll talk about that when we come back here to View Rooftop in the Hilton Garden Inn on Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz from Learfield.
Hi, this is Hawkeye coach Kirk Ferentz. My players know that success is not a given, but with hard work, there are no limits. For years, Iowa farmers have believed in that too. Farmers are the backbone of this country, and their dedication to bringing us food and energy has never been more important. That's why we're proud to wear the America Needs Farmers logo on our helmets. Join the Hawkeyes and the Iowa Farm Bureau as we celebrate farmers during the A&F game on October 21st. For more information and to win tickets to the game, visit americaneedsfarmers.org.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bose, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
Whether you're building a backyard fence for your family's new best friend or firing up the excavator for your next commercial project, a free and simple call can save you from expensive fines and even save your life. Call 811 at least 2 days before you start your next project to have underground utility lines located and marked. At Mid-American Energy, your safety is our #1 priority. So, make it your priority to call 811 before you dig. Paid for by the customers of Mid-American Energy.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. While farmers work hard to grow the best crop, their Iowa corn checkoff investments are hard at work too. Opening local and global markets for corn and corn-fed products, educating drivers on unleaded 88 as the best fuel at the pump, finding new uses for corn, and sharing the farmer's story. Iowa corn farmers are backed by researchers, educators, market experts, and more. To keep corn growing Iowa.
Hey, welcome back to View Rooftop. Thanks so much to View Rooftop and the great staff here for hosting us each and every Wednesday of Hawk Talk. Hawks are about to dive into October, but business to be taken care of first, and that starts Saturday night with the Michigan State Spartans in town for Blackout Saturday. The Hawks and Michigan State, great rivalry down through the years, all the way back to the 50s when they first entered the Big Ten, and Evie had some of those great teams. Michigan State was vying for national championships seemingly every year, and from Duffy Daugherty right on through to present day. Of course, George Perlis, who, Coach, I know you have so much respect for a few years ago, the great George Perlis, who took him to a Rose Bowl, won a Rose Bowl game, and Mark D'Antonio did a phenomenal job. They've hit some rough waters up there now with Coach Tucker, but this program has been very consistent, very solid for the better part of 7 decades.
Yeah, it's really interesting. My third year, I guess, here was Coach Perlis' first year in 1983. And, they had talent, but they just weren't on the same page at all times, that's for sure. And he came in and really got that thing going. And they were, we had some great, as you well know, we had some great games in the 80s with them. And then In the 90s, they switched out, and Nick Saban made a guest appearance there for 5 years, whatever it may have been, and we played them, my first couple of years here, getting back, and then, to your point, most recently, or after that was Coach D'Antonio, who did a fantastic job also, a lot like what Coach Burles did when he got there. So, we've had some great, unbelievable contests over the last 40 years, just tremendous games go down right to the last player of the last series, and Saturday night could likely be one of those. You just never know. So it's going to be good to get back on the field first and foremost. Great to be back in Kinnick and to have a blackout home game. That's really special. It's always special. So, but first and foremost, just be great to get back on the field and start moving forward again.
On that note, we dive into Kirk's Club Car Wash keys to the game, presented by the official car wash of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Club Car Wash with unlimited membership starting at just $20 a month. We've had very timely rains around eastern Iowa the last week or so there's no better time than right now to join the club. Head on out to Club Car Wash tonight or tomorrow. Visit a location nearest you. They're all over the area. For just $20 a month, great deal, Club Car Wash. Kirk, let's start with the offense. We were before you showed up here this evening, we were talking about Noah Kim, their quarterback. They've got two good tailbacks. They feature Carter, but Berger is a talent. What do you like about Noah Kim, the quarterback, first off?
Yeah, Nick Jackson talked about it. He's mobile. They don't run him an awful lot, but he can run. Like, he can pull it down and go, and they'll take the run play up inside, and then he'll take it if your ends are squeezing too hard on the run. He'll pull it down, and he can cover ground. So he's I wouldn't call him a change of direction guy, but he can pick it up and go. So you have to respect that part of it. And then they will throw deep with him. They're not afraid to throw it down the field, whether it's the deep dig routes, post routes, things like that, and deep outs. And so he's a good prospect, got good size. And seems to have good command out there.
They've always had good tight ends and good receivers. You mentioned the passing attack. They've put a lot of guys in the NFL down through the years. That's a measuring stick, I know,
yep.
But they've been so solid. In their good years, they've been very balanced offensively.
They have been, and the running back's excellent. Nick talked about him too. He's a tough runner, and they'll get the ball to him. He and the receiver, I believe Foster's his name. They seem to be the guys, they get more balls than anybody. And with the running back, it's obviously handing it off. He does a good job in the run game, but they'll also get him involved, screen passes, balls to the flat, crossing routes, things like that. So he's clearly one of the guys they want to make sure touches the ball during the ball game, and then the receiver does a good job. And you mentioned the tight end. They play about 3 tight ends, but the one guy is a very tall, linear, athletic guy, number 6, I believe it is. And he's a guy you got to keep your eye on too, because he's a nice target, and they'll run him on deep routes, and he'll do a good job there.
They've got Alante Brown, Christian Fitzpatrick, Montori Foster, Antonio Gates Jr., redshirt freshman. That's a name we're familiar with. They've always had athletes. I mean, they're not too far from Detroit. I know you are very familiar with the Motor City in the state of Michigan. Iowa gets a lot of wonderful players out of the state of Michigan, but they don't have to travel real far to find big linemen and solid offensive players.
Yeah, a lot of their core guys are from that area, the Michigan, Ohio area, and I'll go back to when Coach D'Antonio got there. That was a big emphasis, as was Coach Burles in the 80s, was really recruiting, obviously, the state of Michigan, but also they did really well in Ohio. And it would take. I remember actually the '87 team, I believe, when they went to the Rose Bowl and won it. They beat USC. I think they had 17 guys that didn't have Big Ten offers. So it was kind of impressive. They got guys that they saw that were on the rise and really did a great job coaching them. And these guys turned out to be outstanding football players. But now it's one thing that has changed a little bit with Coach Tucker coming there. They've took a little bit more of a national approach, if you will. And Michigan State's always had a good name nationally, but they've really done that. They've gone a little bit more national, and they've also been very, very active in the transfer portal. And there's a lot of ways to build a team, certainly. So that's something they've tried to take advantage of.
What do you like about their featured running back, the redshirt sophomore Nathan Carter? He's 5'10", 200 pounds. Out in Rochester, New York, he transferred in from Connecticut.
How about that?
Dare I say, the alma mater of Kirk Ferentz, but he had 3 rushing touchdowns in 1 quarter earlier this season. He knows where the end zone is.
Yeah, we had a guy from upstate New York, too, did okay, Jordan Canzeri.
I guess.
Who didn't transfer from Connecticut, but he was offered by Connecticut and was looking at him right there at the end. And ended up coming here, obviously, but so yeah, a little parallel there. But this guy's a tough runner. He's and again, as I mentioned, he's been targeted, so he's clearly he and the receiver are 2 guys they want to get the ball to, and it's a little bit easier, making sure that a running back gets it either, but hand it off to him or then get him involved in the pass game. But he runs tough, he's got good vision, and runs low to the ground.
They have another name that I've mentioned a couple times, Jalen Berger. If that name sounds familiar, Hawk fans, he was at Wisconsin and transferred to Michigan State. That's a rarity when you transfer within conference, but of course, in today's game, all bets are off, right?
I think things have changed. You and I are old enough to remember when there was a rule against that, or at least they had
they had to get permission from the coach.
Yeah, had to sit and all that stuff. So I think those days are gone.
Well, Berger is much along the line of the great big physical backs that Wisconsin is known for. Braylon Allen would be that example this year. Berger's 6'1", 215 pounds, out of Newark, New Jersey, where the Hawks and the Badgers have gotten great running backs down through the years. But it sounds like he's still feeling his way along, and but they do use him, averaging a little over 3 yards a carry.
Yep, imagine we'll see him in there, and they have a big line, big physical line, pretty experienced, and to that point you'll see them pull a lot. Like they run some zone scheme, but they'll also do a lot of man blocking where either in a counter scheme or the sweep, speed sweeps outside. They'll see those guys out there pulling and being active as well.
Well, let's talk about defense. I don't see any. Ed Podolak always loves to talk about the time Iowa went up there. He was a young running back, or maybe quarterback. That's what it was. And Michigan State was ranked number 1. Mm-hmm. And they had, among others, Bubba Smith, George Webster. They had like 4 consensus All-Americans on the defensive side of the football. And Podolak said, I don't think I ever got hit as hard as I did in one game as that Michigan State game. And, the forearm shiver was still legal somewhat in those days. And Ed took 1 or 2 of those from Big Bubba.
It was a little different game then. You'd get kicked out and probably suspended for weeks, some of the stuff that used to go on. So it's interesting how the game has changed. But, yeah, they've had a tradition of having some outstanding players defensively. Phil Parker being one of them, 3-time All-Big Ten player. So, yeah, they've had some great names through the years. And, they're a very active, aggressive group. They'll blitz a lot with their inside backers. Those guys have been pretty active. And, they've got probably as big of front guys, and they play a lot of them. They'll play 6, 7, 8, 9 guys up front, and they're about as big as I've seen. Collectively for one team, they're just they all look the part. Outside of one of the ends is kind of a little bit smaller and more of a quickness type player, but they got some real size up front and some really good football players.
I see one at 320, one at 300, one at 330. Oh. Another one at 300. Here's a little bitty guy. He's 265.
Yeah, they
a lot of beef.
We'll see what they look like on the field, but on film they look really big, good-sized guys.
They are always talented in terms of athleticism and speed, and Michigan State looks to be no different this year.
Linebacker 27's got a really good story, too. I believe he's from Pennsylvania. And
he is.
Farm kid that, it sounds like just one of those stories. Gets up at 4 in the morning, does chores, and then goes out and does all kinds of stuff. But boy, he's been a very active player and a good player for him. So certainly one of the leaders on their defense.
25 tackles, 9 solo. He's all over, and he's got an interception too. So Cade has to be leery of him. I like Cade McNamara's comments after the game Saturday and throughout the weekend. We know he's a stand-up guy, but he said this isn't the true Iowa team. We'll get better going forward.
Yeah, I mean, that's time will tell and all that stuff. So, I know everybody wants to know the answer to the story before we even get going. But, no question. We're going to respond. We're going to go out and play a game Saturday night and hopefully come out with a win. That's the goal each and every time. And that's the biggest thing, is just trying to make sure, we're coaching young guys, so we got to make sure they understand a little bit that that's not the end. And I know that, the narrative usually flies, in the face of that kind of logic. But, history shows that it's about every week, trying to meet the challenge. And it didn't work out for us last week, so straight ahead. And as I said earlier in the show, the one thing I am sure of, we've got really quality guys. They care a lot, and I think they're good football players. So, we'll go back to work and just keep trying to make improvement and see what we can do this week.
Those are Kirk Ferentz. Club Car Wash, keys to the game. Log on to clubcarwash.com.
One other key I will add is turnovers, and I think right now we're about even. And certainly Saturday did not help us. I hope it's an aberration. Time will tell on that as well. But, they've been a little sloppy at the ball. We were sloppy the other day, and that's always going to be a big factor in any ball game, that and special teams. And so, we need to do a better job. I can't speak to them, but I know we need to do a better job with our ball security. And, Torrey did a great job at their other areas in that special teams phase where we can get a little bit better and, take care of those two things, and it gives you a chance to, build something from there.
For sure, and we've seen that act before, and we like it where special teams and defense are working hand to glove. Coach Ferentz is sponsored tonight here at View Rooftop by U.S. Cellular. As our proud sponsor, U.S. Cellular is built for the Hawkeyes. They're built for great interceptions and better reception, watching touchdowns instead of touch screens, and waving before streaming. After all, game day only comes once a week. U.S. Cellular, built for us. And throughout the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series, Iowa Corn promotes honest, hard-working values that are uniquely Iowan. Iowa's corn farmers salute all athletes for their hard work and determination to be the best both on and off the field. Just like top athletes, Iowa's farmers lead the nation in corn and ethanol production. Follow Iowa Corn on Facebook and learn how corn grows Iowa. We'll go to your Twitter and Facebook posts when we come back on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from Learfield.
Hi, this is Hawkeye coach Kirk Ferentz. My players know that success is not a given, but with hard work, there are no limits. For years, Iowa farmers have believed in that too. Farmers are the backbone of this country, and their dedication to bringing us food and energy has never been more important. That's why we're proud to wear the America Needs Farmers logo on our helmets. Join the Hawkeyes and the Iowa Farm Bureau as we celebrate farmers during the A&F game on October 21st. For more information and to win tickets to the game, visit americaneedsfarmers.org.
Bump's Restaurant in the Finkbine Golf Course Clubhouse is the place to go before Hawkeye football games. For just $35 per person, you can have an all-you-can-eat buffet that includes barbecue, upscale tailgate favorites, a carving station, and all the fixins in the friendly comfort of the modern clubhouse. A full bar, Bloody Marys, mimosas, and over 35 beers are available. Reservations made on Friday before 11 a.m. include free game day parking for one vehicle. Kinnick Stadium is a leisurely walk down Melrose Avenue, so make game day easy by parking and eating at Bump's. For reservations, call 319-335-9662.
Can you think of anything that costs the same today as it did 10 years ago? There isn't much. That is, unless you're a Mid-American Energy customer. Thanks to all the renewable energy we're generating, our customers pay nearly the same rate for electricity today as they did back when we were all singing, "Call Me Maybe." And with Mid-American making even more investments in clean energy, you can count on enjoying those same affordable rates for the next decade. Now that's obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Running a business is a lot of work. Luckily, I've got a great partner. Oh, I thank you. I meant U.S. Bank. I knew that. U.S. Bank Business Essentials is a huge help to us.
Totally. Their comprehensive point-of-sale system does it all. Tracks inventory, manages schedules, customizes orders.
Plus, all the regular banking stuff.
If only it could make coffee.
Nah, that's your job.
From point of sale to quick loans, we have many ways to make your business boom. That's what U.S. Bank is for. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
I'm Ingrid Lizarraga, breast surgeon at the University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center, the state's only NCI-designated cancer center. Here, we look beyond just the type of cancer you have to discover the molecular details of the disease. We have teams dedicated to each cancer type, with treatments and trials you won't find anywhere else in Iowa. Go to uihc.org/cancer.
We're back on Hawk Talk at View Rooftop in the Hilton Garden Inn. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. And if you're out and about listening in, thank you as well. View Rooftop, great hosts here, and they'd love to host you. Located on the 12th floor of the Hilton Garden Inn here in Iowa City. Features a distinctly modern escape filled with a unique outdoor design. And it's open all day on Hawkeye football game days. Tailgate specials. View Rooftop provides a high-energy, memorable experience with food, music, and fantastic views of the Iowa City skyline for those tailgate specials. You can tailgate right here. Call 319-519-4650 and set up your View Rooftop reservation for this Saturday. 319-519-4650. Thank you, View Rooftop. All right, Coach Ferentz, let's go to Twitter first. Nick, how will playing back at home in Kinnick help the team get back on track? It's always good to be home.
It is. And the crowds won't win the game for us. The fans won't, unfortunately. They can't come out there and help us, give us a little extra push. But there's it's just special to play in Kinnick anytime, and then certainly a night game. It's just a whole different environment. So we're always excited to be back home. But to play in a blackout night game, that's really special. And I know our fans will be ready. Our job is for us to be ready on top of it.
For sure. And this happens to be the year where Iowa has 5 games in Kinnick of its 9. That flip-flops every other year. Good year to have 5 at home, especially with the schedule of who's coming in. And the Hawks are home for 3 of the next 4. The only road trip is up to Madison. We know how difficult that will be, but good chance to make some hay here as the month of September closes out. Blake says, hey, Coach, with so many coaches coming and going across the college football landscape in these modern times, has it become harder to study film on certain coaches over multiple schools and what they've done in the past?
That's a really good question, actually, and not that the other ones aren't, but I don't think anybody's ever brought that up.
Well, if you like it, that's our authentic brand merch winner for the night.
Well, the thing about it is, that's a great question, and that it's a very real factor. It's amazing, yeah. Not only head coaches, but also the staff changes. So especially in early season. When you play a school where they've got a whole new staff and we're chasing film, over here, over there, or a coordinator comes in from a whole different place. So it's interesting how you try to piece a game plan together, weeks 1, 2, 3 especially. So, and it's always a challenge anyway, but if they're coming from different places, that makes it really kind of interesting. But once you get past September, typically now people are kind of they're building their identities, and you get to see what they're trying to do at least, and you see this year's players doing it, which is always helpful. But all that being said, it's nice to have we all have books on each other a little bit, and
sure.
Over time, the places where changes aren't as frequent, you start to get a pretty good feel for what they like to do or don't do, and then the challenge is more about who can do it better.
Well, Blake, congratulations from Coach Ferentz. He likes your question or comment, and so do I. So Blake is our winner of the Authentic Brand Hawkeye merch pack for asking that question. Dress up for game day. It's now a breeze thanks to Authentic Brand. Get ready for game day by visiting authentic-brand.com/Iowa. Let's go, Blake, thank you again for the question. Let's go to Dane on Twitter. Coach, okay, he's giving you a game situation here. Mm-hmm. The box is stacked, and you need to open up a hole to get 2 yards for a first down. Which offensive lineman since 1999 do you pick? Now, he offered the following: Alonzo Cunningham, Chad Deal, Bruce Nelson, Eric Steinbach, B.J. Van Briesen, Jay Bickford, A.J. Blazik, and Andy Lightfoot, all off that 1999 team. So he's favoring that first group that you came in to coach. Boy, there's some names from 25 years ago.
That is going back to year one. Exactly right. And Bruce at that time was a second-year player, first-year player on the field eligibility-wise. He redshirted first year. Weighed all of about 250. I think I'm going to take the easy way out. He mentioned Eric Steinbach, who was here a couple of weeks ago to be honored.
Hall of Famer.
And I'm going to take the easy way out and take Robert Gallery, who's being recognized also this weekend for going in the National Collegiate Hall of Fame and National Football Foundation, I should say. I think he's the 11th player in the history of this program to be selected. And I'm on one of the committees, not to vote on who gets in, but just a regional, like, this guy should be on the nomination list. And I'm always fascinated just how many really good players, great players, not good players, great players, don't make the nomination list, and then obviously a lot aren't in the Hall of Fame that are very, very deserving and worthy. So for Robert to be selected, this is really it's a really great thing. Andre Tippett a couple of years ago was the last one, and it's a very prestigious thing. So great that Robert's going to be back in Iowa City, and so I'm going to lean towards him because I don't want him to smack me on Saturday or Friday.
Well, you wouldn't want any of these guys to smack you. That's for
that
sure.
would be good.
Congratulations, Robert Gallery. I did a podcast with Big Robert a couple months ago about his selection, and he's just as modest as he's always
really
been.
Is.
A big old farmer from Winthrop, East Buck up there, hi to the Gallery family and everybody in is that Buchanan County? Yeah, I think it is Buchanan County. Yep. Well, East Buchanan, of course it would be. I know Delaware County line is pretty close to that. So hi to Robert and his beautiful family, and he'll be introduced on Saturday over at the game. And of all those names. I'm sorry, you were going to add something to that?
Like I say, he's doing great. He's in great shape. He's lost a lot of weight, and obviously it's not productive to be 340 pounds when you're just an adult who's not playing athletics I don't know what he played at in the NFL. He's about 325 with us, but he's really dropped a lot of weight, looks tremendous. He and Becker are just great people and raising a beautiful young family.
He's lost a lot of weight. You still wouldn't want to arm wrestle him.
No,
he still bales hay on the Gallery farm. But all those names from 1999 on that line, the only one that I had forgotten about was B.J. Van Briesen. Yeah. Tell us about B.J.
Well, he was a walk-on who was a tough young guy, and I know he got thrown into the fray. A lot of guys got thrown into the fray maybe before they're ready, and B.J. did, and for whatever reason chose not to continue on after I think year two. But he ended up playing really well for us. Tough guy, competitive guy, and that's where things that was a starting point, just trying to get things going a little bit.
And our buddy A.J. Blazik, Andy Lightfoot, didn't he go on to be? Was he a doctor?
He sure is. Yeah. He and Will Lack, who's not on that list, but Will was a walk-on, and both of them went on to do great things. Will went to Harvard Medical School. Andy went here, and is now practicing and doing a great job and raising a beautiful family too. He married a doctor actually.
And help me out, where's AJ coaching at? What staff is he on?
Vanderbilt.
So, Vanderbilt, I knew, because that's right. He came to the bowl game in Nashville and said hi to everybody at practice. Let's flip over to Facebook before we take a break here. This is from Greg. And I like this one, Coach. Kirk, what's it like seeing all your ex-players succeed, former players succeed in the NFL? Laporta had quite the day Sunday. Sam had 8 catches. His first touchdown as a Detroit Lion, 84 total yards. A.J. Epinesa had a sack and a pick six. Big A.J. George Kittle had 7 catches for 90 yards. T.J. Hawkinson, 8 catches, 78 yards. Jack Campbell, 6 tackles, and his first career sack. That's just for starters. It's got to be heartwarming.
It is. We don't get to watch, I was going to say, much pro football, really any pro football. Maybe, Sunday night or Monday night you might catch the last couple minutes walking in the house. But, it's fun to hear those things. And somebody tipped me off about Sam and A.J. as well. AJ's brother's on the team right now, so we kind of talked about that a little bit. Yeah. But those are real highlights for both those guys. Sam's first touchdown and AJ's pick sixes are hard to come by. So happy for all those guys. George's done a great job. Actually, one of the San Francisco personnel guys was here this week. We were talking about him, and it's just fun. You're happy for their success, and we just talked about guys like Andy Lightfoot who went to med school. The football part ends at some point, usually sooner than later for most guys, and it's really about what they do as they move forward as adults and, raising families, things like that. Just, finding their niche in life and, find a good middle ground.
Well spoken. Congratulations. Of course, once a Hawk, all a Hawk, even though they are considered former Hawks. So congratulations to all the aforementioned Hawkeyes who had great weekends in the NFL this past week. All right, we'll go back to Twitter and Facebook with Coach Ferentz when we return to View Rooftop here in the Hilton Garden Inn on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from Learfield.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bowes, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spahn & Rose, like GAF. Use the Spahn & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spahn & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spahn & Rose, buy easier, build better.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
At US Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit US Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. US Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Whether you're building a backyard fence for your family's new best friend or firing up the excavator for your next commercial project, a free and simple call can save you from expensive fines and even save your life. Call 811 at least 2 days before you start your next project to have underground utility lines located and marked. At Mid-American Energy, your safety is our #1 priority. So, make it your priority to call 811 before you dig. Paid for by the customers of Mid-American Energy.
To anyone passing through our state, fields and fields of corn might be what they see. But the people who call Iowa home know it's so much more. Corn is ethanol, a homegrown, renewable fuel. Corn is delicious pork, beef, poultry, and dairy. Corn is in 4,000 products we rely on every day. So yeah, our highway views are full of corn, and we're proud of it. Because corn grows Iowa. Show your support for Iowa corn farmers at iowacorn.org/fan of corn.
Time's flying here on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz. Welcome back to View Rooftop, high atop the Hilton Garden Inn. We're here until 8 o'clock each and every week from 6:30 until 8. Come on out and join us. Plan on it next week as the Hawkeyes hopefully talking about a victory over Michigan State. And we look ahead to Purdue, which is homecoming next week for the Hawkeyes. Coach, let's go back to, let's stay on Facebook. I like Jim's question. What hard challenges do you anticipate will come around for this week's game versus the last three? Where you wrapped up the non-conference, you got your feet wet now in the Big Ten, so you've got 2 home games, road trip to Madison. Madison will be a lot like Penn State, very physical football game, but it's an interesting question how the game planning changes, if at all, as the season goes on.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, going back to Sunday, first thing is we got to move on. We're going to look at this game, talk about it, discuss whatever needs to be discussed, but most importantly is moving forward and getting on to the next opponent, which is Michigan State, obviously. So it's not everything, but it's certainly good to be back home, no question about that. Yeah, and the biggest thing is focusing on having a good week of practice. I think we've done that. So it's all about improvement, see what we can do about being a better team fundamentally. And, as simple as it sounds, it's still a game of trying to move the ball and eventually score, then stop them from moving it. And, special teams, their job is to complement both those categories. So that's really what it's about. We'll see how everything pans out, but I think there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff during the course of the season in the Big Ten, just based on early season returns here. But, everybody's developing a personality right now, and it's a long season, so we'll just be trying to focus on taking a step forward here and then keep taking steps forward as we move on.
There's always twists and turns you don't anticipate in any Big Ten season. We're brought to you tonight. Coach Ferentz is brought to you by Wellmark. The exciting moments, the proud moments, even the hard moments. Wellmark Blue Cross Blue Shield is here for all of it. All of us and all of you as your healthcare champion, making healthcare more affordable with more choices for care and peace of mind. No matter what comes your way, find the plan right for you at wellmark.com/touchdown. One more, Coach, before we take our final break of the night. Vicky, do you think the second night game in a row will help or hurt? I think the stadium and fans here has to help as much as the Penn State atmosphere hurt you. Don't you agree?
Yeah, and the other part about that, I don't disagree with that at all. It's always great to play in front of our fans. The other part of it is that now we've had a run at the night game routine, if you will. We started out, I think, early kickoff first game, and then a couple back-to-back 2:30s. So maybe that's a good omen. We can settle into that schedule. The guys have had practice at sitting in the hotel. Our opponent, has played 4 games at home, so this is their first road trip. But, the bottom line is still about the game that takes place on the field. And but it's never a bad thing to be home. It's never a bad thing to play at night. And I can't think that it hurts us either, the fact that we had to go through that routine last week. So it's, I don't want to call it old hat, but at least it's a week 2 of the same schedule.
Kevin, and I don't know if you can comment on this, Coach. I'm guessing no. Any word when the league is going to announce next year's schedule? Many people look at the schedule of planned special events that will not conflict with home Iowa football games. Well, Kevin, the problem is now with Washington and Oregon coming into the fray, they had a schedule for next year. Now that's been upset. But I talked to Beth Getz yesterday, and she thinks they'll have formulated a new schedule and plan for approval here within the next week. So, Kevin, stay tuned. We'll come back and wrap up this week's Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz right after this from View Rooftop on Learfield.
At US Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit US Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. US Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Can you think of anything that costs the same today as it did 10 years ago? There isn't much. That is, unless you're a Mid-American Energy customer. Thanks to all the renewable energy we're generating, our customers pay nearly the same rate for electricity today as they did back when we were all singing, "Call Me Maybe." And with Mid-American making even more investments in clean energy, you can count on enjoying those same affordable rates for the next decade. Now that's obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Bump's Restaurant in the Finkbine Golf Course Clubhouse is the place to go before Hawkeye football games. For just $35 per person, you can have an all-you-can-eat buffet that includes barbecue, upscale tailgate favorites, a carving station, and all the fixins in the friendly comfort of the modern clubhouse. A full bar, Bloody Marys, mimosas, and over 35 beers are available. Reservations made on Friday before 11 a.m. include free game day parking for 1 vehicle. Kinnick Stadium is a leisurely walk down Melrose Avenue, so make game day easy by parking and eating at Bump's. For reservations, call 319-335-9662.
Does your company attire make you feel like you're always fourth and long? It's time for a change. Hand the ball off to Authentic Brand and watch your team transform into MVPs. On game days, our team dresses like champions in Authentic Brand. Ensure that your company's reputation remains untarnished by using nothing but the label specifically designed to display your company's identity. Ask your supplier for Authentic Brand products and see for yourself why it's more than just a label. It's a statement.
About 5 minutes left in tonight's show, and we'll get back to our Twitter and Facebook posts in just a minute. First, I want to talk to you about Bumps Restaurant at Finkbine. Score big on game day at Bumps Restaurant at the Finkbine Golf Course Clubhouse for just $35. Enjoy an all-you-can-eat barbecue buffet, upscale tailgate favorites, and more. You can sip on Bloody Marys, mimosas, and choose from 35-plus beers, craft beers included. Make your reservation by Friday at 11 of any game week for free game day parking just up the street from Kinnick. Reserve now at Bumps, 319-335-9662. 335-9662. And our show tonight and each week is brought to you by Authentic Brand. All season long, our broadcast team exudes style with Authentic Brand attire. It's the brand we trust for premium game day looks and everyday styles. Whether you're in search of top-notch company-branded merchandise, you shop owners, or apparel that proudly showcases your Hawkeye pride, ask your supplier or local retailer for Authentic Brand by name. I want to give a shout-out to Zach Johnson, Captain Johnson. They're getting ready to ramp up the Ryder Cup starting Friday, Coach, over in just north of Rome at Marco Simone. And it's always, you talk about a grudge match, the Europeans and the Americans, but we know what a passionate Hawkeye fan Zach is. And I'm just trying to figure out how he's going to handle it. Now, they're 7 hours ahead of us over there. So will he be up in the middle of the night listening to the Hawkeye game? We'll see, but I texted him, wished him well today, and haven't heard back from him. I can't imagine. He's worried about Rory McIlroy, and I'm wasting his time. But all the best to Zach. I know you've had him in the locker room post-game. He's a great human being, number one, a very giving human being, but he's a heck of a Hawkeye fan.
Yeah, he's outstanding. Got a chance to see him this summer over at the John Deere Classic, and nice visit with him afterwards, and his family, mom and dad, and just he's first class in every way. And what a great honor, so well deserved. He's just a tremendous person. So we wish he and the entire team great success here.
Adam on, let's see, is that Facebook, Twitter? It doesn't matter. Adam, Coach, how's your strategy in recruiting offensive and defensive players to match the Big Ten's physicality change throughout the years and in the future with all these Pac-12 transplants, Oregon, USC, UCLA, Washington joining the league?
Yeah, not really an awful lot. Good players. You need good players to beat anybody. It's going to be competitive out there. So, I think we've had pretty decent success with the guys that we've picked, and it's like all positions. They come different sizes, different styles, but it's the one common denominator. You're looking for guys that really love the game and love to work at it, and if they'll do that over a course of 2, 3, 4 years, you see a lot of improvement, and that's what you always hope for.
I know I was going to ask you for an update. I know Luke Lachey is out indefinitely for a while after surgery. What about the two running backs that missed Saturday, Caleb Johnson and
Jazz, yep.
Yeah, Jazz Patterson, excuse me.
Yeah, they definitely will not play this week. We'll take it week by week, hopefully get moving forward here sooner than later, but definitely not this week.
Well, Kamari Moulton and Terrell Washington get another shot to move up the ladder, huh?
Yeah, they do. For young guys, they're doing well, and hopefully we can just keep pushing them forward.
Steve on Facebook wants to know about the progress for this year's freshman class in general.
They're doing a good job out there. It's really tough once we get into game preparation. Outside of the guys that are working with the two deep or sometimes rotate through, you don't see as much of them. So it's kind of a little bit of a gap there. But they've been great guys. They're doing well in school. All the academic reports are coming
good
back positively. And to me, the biggest thing is getting guys transitioned from the high school careers to the college part of things.
Coach Ferentz, we're about to say goodnight. I do want to mention Hawkeye Village before we leave. Get game tickets, pre-game extravaganza, all you can eat, drinks, and more at Hawkeye Village. You can really upgrade your act on game day and impress your family and friends. Perfect for groups. Limited availability, though, so to get your tickets, visit HawkeyeSports.com. and click on the Hawkeye Village link, HawkeyeSports.com. Join the Hawkeye excitement at Hawkeye Village, just out beyond the Dwayne Banks baseball field. Got about a minute left. I know you're a huge baseball fan. I love baseball. Brooks Robinson passed away here in the last 24 hours, and the human vacuum cleaner, they call him at third base, 86 years old. What a Hall of Famer. The Baltimore Orioles and those great Baltimore teams back in the 60s and 70s in particular. But, man, time marches on when you read about a guy like Brooks Robinson no longer with us.
Yeah, I did catch that headline. And, growing up in Pittsburgh, they played several World Series against each other. And Earl Weaver's the manager. They had some great pitching staff. But, he's one of the all-time great players in baseball, and it's just a sad thing.
Brooks, we remember you tonight. That wraps up our Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from this week's edition at View Rooftop here in the Hilton Garden Inn. Make sure you come on down. If you don't have a ticket for Saturday's game, this would be a good spot for you, View Rooftop. We'll be on there at 4:30 Saturday afternoon, kick at 6, blackout Saturday at Kinnick Stadium, and we'll talk next Wednesday again from View Rooftop. Good night, everybody.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield, live from View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City. Hawk Talk has been brought to you by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Your local Ford dealers, Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and Iowa Corn Promotion Board. You may think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. U.S. Bank, proud to support Iowa football. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Also brought to you by Mid-American Energy. Visit MidAmericanEnergy.com for electrical safety tips. By University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Cellular, built for the Hawkeyes. Built for silencing notifications and turning up the noise. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Iowa Farm Bureau, who would like to remind you to support America's farmers. Check out AmericaNeedsFarmers.org. And by Authentic Brand, the label you wear makes a difference. Step up your game day looks and everyday style with Authentic Brand. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.